Hi, Anti Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are getting into Tower of God Season 2, Episode 9, and I'm starting to stress myself out because we're getting closer and closer to everything that's going on, right? We had last episode where we got introduced into Emily. That's going to be a whole thing, right? As we go forward. Also, Khun figuring out or being told that Bomb is alive. We still have to deal with this up with his team and Rachel, but also once we get into like workshop battle stuff, we're also getting into everything with Teddy Bear and ignition weapons and all that, right? So like things are starting to ramp up and I'm just like remembering the stress of this particular part of the story. It's probably gonna be fine. Probably not gonna wreck me emotionally. In 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, starting off with Khun. How you doing? I love the shadow work there because it adds like almost like bags under his eyes, like it makes him look more tired. Of course he's curious. He wants to know everything. I kind of forgot like his name, his username. Especially since it's not his chat, right? It's Dan's. Oh, sweet boy. Oh, right. Oh yeah, we're gonna be dealing with all that. It has been a hot minute since that's this part of the story for me, where I'm reading the webtoon. Miss that crazy kid. Oh, teddy bear. Yeah, what a crazy coincidence. Oh, my sweet darling boy. With his emo haircut. I miss him too. I understand that we're doing like lots of story stuff, and because of that we kind of had to deviate and leave some people behind, but you know what? Sometimes I just really miss some of the characters. You know? There's some characters from like season 1 that I'm like, man, it has been a minute since I had a story where it was central for them. I know they're doing stuff. I know we're gonna loop back at some point, right? But it's just sad that I don't actually get to you know, keep up with them in all of the stories. But like again, I totally understand because like there's such a huge cast in this series that managing that size of an ensemble is just like way too much. Right? Especially when like the main kind of the main character, right, is like Bomb and what's going on with him, that obviously managing who has, you know, a lot of like screen time or a lot of the focus of the story is going to depend on like who is directly helping Bob with his story at any point, right? Still, is it just me being a little bit salty about not getting more stories within Dorsey? Maybe I just miss her. I just miss Best Girl. Ugh, this whole thing is so messed up. This whole thing is so messed up and heartbreaking. Boy, will they. Yeah, I know. And then they try to make me be like empathetic to some of the people. I'm like, I think not. Oh, but darling boy. Yep. You'd think there'd be some trauma bonding. However, that hurts. Like we were like real brothers. Uh, ugh, this, her. I have a bone to pick. Yeah. I don't even remember her name. They said it so many times, Sophia, and I just like throw it from my brain because I'm like, you don't deserve it. And she thought it was totally okay to experiment on children. I just want that to be clear. It's like she treated us like humans. I'm like, yeah, uh-huh. And also was okay with working for a place that used children for experimentation. You don't want to know what I think. I got a lot of names from Miss Sophia, and ain't none of them appropriate for me to say on YouTube without getting into some trouble. Mm-hmm. Look, there's some characters where I'm like, they're like a little bit evil, whatever. And then there's other characters where I'm like, I hate you so much. Yeah. She's not so great anymore, is she? Oh, yeah. I had thrown you from my brain, too. Forgot about that particular nightmare fuel. Earned the right. Get out of here. I have so much anger towards like the workshop battles in general. It's great to set this up though, because it's like understand exactly what we're about to walk into, the kind of people that we're dealing with. Calling it a devil too is also like pointed. This voice actor though is having fun. This is worse with sound too. Yeah, because she sucks. Not enough happened, in my opinion. Hey, just my humble opinions. Ugh, they look so haunted now. Like seeing them as like little kids, especially like Casino, and how like happy and carefree and confident and like just a kid he was, and then seeing him afterwards and everything that happens in the story, wild what they did to him. Doesn't make me like him though. Oh, don't cry, my darling boy. Oh, oh yeah. Speaking of people I got beef with, but the fact that like in that moment he's like, I realized the world was actually beautiful. Like there was parts of the world that were beautiful. Oof, power gained through the sacrifice of others. What a motif to bring forward. It's gonna continue to be something we talk about. Yeah, this is gonna be a whole thing. Oh, I love it. Like, yeah, so we'll do it. We'll help you out because Team Sweet and Sour sticks together, except when they need to strategically split up. This behold actual friendship. I love that they just like playing games together. It's so cute. Why are y'all sitting so far apart? Like, y'all are like sitting the farthest away from each other you possibly can. Ugh, don't remind me. The ultimate person I have beef with. Oh, jeez. Yeah, they're cooked pretty thoroughly, aren't they? Yeah, I don't think I'd want a surprise. They're like, oh, nope, I'm already sleeping, taking a nap, you know? I like how she's like, I'm not gonna eat them. I wonder if he's unfazed. I can't remember. Oh, why is it glowing? Oh, smile, cutie pie. Smiled. She's actually a cutie pie. Y'all just don't know that yet. I love how I was just like, that's so weird. It's so funny to be like the introduction of people who know him as Violet and the people who know him as Bomber. They're like, of course he's smiling. He's a cinnamon bun. Whereas like people who know him as Violet are like, was that a smile? What's going on? Ooh, For why? Look at these two emos facing off. There are some parallels, huh? Dun dun dun! With the music cue? Yeah. Boy, can't we just be friends? Hug it out. Good luck with that, though. I don't know why I got a close up of his hair in that moment. The animation. And then we see his eyes for the first time this episode, other than flashbacks. Ooh, cool music cue. The way that he pulled that punch, though. It's almost like people lied to you. I like how that time we see his eyes when he says it. Like, you can understand where he's coming from, of saying, like, I actually don't know. Because he doesn't, right? Like, there's so much of his past that he just, like, has no information on. Or he has to try and trust the people who've told him stuff. Which, like, a lot of people have reason to not tell him entirely what's going on. Interesting to have this image again. It's so interesting to me the amount of stuff that was like foreshadowed and like set up for stuff later. Like, I think it's one of my favorite things about going back through the anime, revisiting things, is I'm like, ooh, that is a motif we are going to use again. Mm-hmm. Forgive my eye roll because, like, ugh. Leaving. Psh. Without your friends. Not happening. Oh, it's most definitely a trap. I assume everything is a trap. The amount of layers that Foo's got going on, trap. No. Immediately, I was like, I love him. Just big teddy bear. Just a big squish. Gentle giant. Immediately adopted. Were past tense. Very dramatic. See, like, why are y'all so spaced out from each other on these couches all the time? Lies. He's like, what are we wearing? How do we coordinate our looks? He says that like he wears anything other than this one outfit during this part of the story. Pretty landscape though. I like setting up the other person with the like hood in that photo. That was a cool transition with the snow and the stars. Borb. Why are we bullying? Oh. Uh. Oh, geez. Foreshadowing. I love their beef. Oh, like stressed. This hair tied back and everything, though. Ooh, I'm stressed. It's gonna be some heavy episodes back to back. There really is so much ground to cover this season. Even getting up to the workshop battles, like I remember getting into the season and people being like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you to get to workshop battle stuff," because there was mentions of it super early on in season 2. And then I was like, "Cool," thinking that I was gonna get there. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much story before I get there," which is totally fine. It makes sense. We have to set up a bunch of stuff, including like our cast of new characters. But I think that overall they're doing a pretty good job with pacing stuff. I've definitely had a few moments where I'm like, "Oh, there was so much information to just throw." Like this is another like dense information episode, but I love that we got a bunch of the storytelling through visuals, right? Like it was more of a narration of Oryang like telling us the story, but also getting visuals of what it was like for him. And I think that's a much better way of doing it than some of the stuff that they had in some of the other episodes where it felt more like people just like sitting around talking. And I'm like, there's so much to throw at us that you need to take advantage of some of that visual storytelling involved that comes with like animation and comics and all of that. But there's just some really interesting motifs to pull forward, like sacrifice for the sake of power, and Bomb in that flashback with the red light and this like suspension of like water. Like that's going to be a thing that we come back to, of like power within him and all of that. I think that it's so fun to go back through and understand how much setup there was to a bunch of the stuff that I'm getting into like way down the line in the webtoon, and even just like full clips in this, right, where I'm like, oh, that like screenshot of this, I can compare that to a panel that happens like 100 chapters from now or more, right? So I think that's a nice like reminder. It's one of my favorite things of going through these episodes, is not only seeing some of the different stuff they do in terms of how they're adapting it and like sound design and music and voice acting and stuff that isn't going to be in the comic, but also reminding myself of a bunch of the stuff that happens, because when I was going through the webtoon, those weren't details that I was like keeping track of in the same way as I am like later on when we have these huge other things going on. So I think that it's so cool to see it through that different lens of a little bit more like hindsight and be able to know which things I'm supposed to be paying attention to. But heavy episode, like just in terms of the content of it and the story of going back through what the workshop battles like are, or like the workshops and the people and the scientists that work for them, and setting up what that environment is going to be like, the kind of people that we're dealing with, and having that go into some of the stuff that's going to be coming up as we deal with the Cassino and all of that. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be a whole thing. I'm gonna be stressed like the whole time we go through the rest of the story. I'm sure that they're going to probably end on some of the big things like halfway through the season before we get into, like, I'm assuming that latter half is gonna be workshop battle stuff. So I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post a Tower of God reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.